You ever get that feeling in your gut like your stomach just sinks before your brain even catches up? I mean, the kind of drop where your body already knows you're in trouble, but your mind is still chugging along clueless. That was me. Random Monday red light sitting in my car when my phone starts buzzing in the cup holder like it's mad at me, like it's got some urgent beef with my peace of mind. So I check the screen. There's a text. It's too short. Way too short. Hey, not trying to freak you out, but there's a woman in your garage. She says she's with the HOA. I read it twice. Slower the second time. You know how you stare at something and hope you're reading it wrong? Like maybe your brain's just tired, maybe you're seeing things. But no, a woman. In my garage, not knocking, not waiting outside, not even doing the whole passive-aggressive note taped to my door in Comic Sans, just inside. And here's the worst part, I already knew who it was. Because every neighborhood has one. You know, the type self-appointed sheriff of the suburbs. Clipboard always ready. Walks around with this look like the rules of the HOA are commandments and she's Moses coming down the mountain. In our area, her name was Marilyn Price. But trust me, nobody called her Marilyn. To everyone, she was just that HOA woman. The kind who knows the bylaws better than her grandkids' birthdays. The kind who gets a little spark in her eye when she spots a trash can out after pickup. Living next to her. Well, you learn to park your trash cans at the perfect angle. You find yourself trimming the hedges just a little too often. You avoid eye contact when she's walking her dog because you just know, absolutely know, she's mentally measuring your grass with her eyes. But this was new. This wasn't a note. This was my garage. That's a line, you know. That's not just a space for boxes and stuff you forget about. That's my zone. My escape. My one spot where nobody tells me what to do. And yeah, I keep some things in there I'd rather not share with the world. Not illegal, just personal, valuable. Definitely nobody's business. I didn't text back. Didn't even think about it. Threw the car into drive, blasted through the red light. Yeah, not my proudest moment. And just went. Heart pounding every block I got closer, jaw clenched so tight I could feel it in my ears. And sure enough, when I rolled up, the garage door was wide open, like open house open. And there she was, standing right in the middle, clipboard ready, pen, already uncapped, hands on hips, channeling her inner authority. You know that look, chin just a little too high, lips pressed so tight they look painful. She didn't flinch when she saw me. "Oh, good," she says, glancing up like I'm late for a dentist appointment. "You're home." I just froze. Keys still in my hand, feeling like maybe this was a stress dream, like maybe if I blinked hard enough I'd wake up. "What?" I managed, because honestly that's all I had. She sighs. Like I'm the one ruining her day. "I'm conducting an inspection," she says, all official, tapping the clipboard. "We received reports of potential HOA violations." Inspection. She says it like it's just what you do. Like strolling into someone's garage is another item on the to-do list, somewhere between picking up dog food and returning a library book. "You broke into my property," I say, and I can feel my voice starting to get that edge, that heat crawling up the back of my neck. "You didn't notify me. You don't have a key. You didn't even ask." She just waves it off, all casual. The door was unlocked. That's when I felt it, the slow burn, you know. Not the explosion, but that deep down anger. The kind that starts behind your eyes and makes your scalp tingle. Unlocked is not an invitation. Unlocked doesn't mean come in, play detective, start snooping around. I step up, pull the garage door all the way open. Motor whining, daylight flooding the place. That's when something shifts, like really shifts. Marilyn, all smug and ready to pounce, just freezes. Her eyes go wide mouth open, then clamp shut again. She stumbles back like she's suddenly not sure of the floor. See, she was expecting disaster. Piles of junk, some half-finished mess she could call a violation. Instead, she gets my garage. And my garage, it's not what she thinks. It's immaculate. Rows of vintage motorcycles, polished, shining, not a smudge in sight. Classic coupe tucked along the wall paint like glass chrome, practically winking in the light. Shelves, custom-built, lined with action figures, all still sealed. First edition comics, bagged, boarded archival cases, everything cataloged. Old memorabilia, rare stuff, each piece arranged with care. Not clutter. A collection. You could eat off that floor. She drops the clipboard. Like literally it just falls, makes this sharp crack on the concrete. I... She starts, voice suddenly small. This can't be. And her knees just buckle. Not exaggerating. She actually goes down, palms on the floor, like her body finally realized it can't keep up the act. I just cross my arms, lean on the doorframe, watch her try to process. Yeah, I say, maybe too calm it can be. She looks up at me, eyes darting around like maybe she missed something, like maybe this is all a trick. These are all mine. Bought and paid for. Properly stored. Fully compliant. You want to check the HOA guidelines? Go ahead. For a second, she tries to recover, points a shaky finger at the motorcycles. They take up a lot of space. And the collectibles, they're not standard. Unsightly. I snort. Not a full laugh, just one of those sharp, involuntary ones that slips out. Unsightly. On my property. That's when everything tilts. Because now she doesn't just look lost, she looks powerless. And here's the thing. A lot of folks get confused here, and this is why people like Marilyn think they can get away with it. HOAs do not have unlimited power. They can't just barge in, do random inspections whenever they feel like it. Even in the strictest neighborhoods, there are rules. Written notice. Specific reasons. Scheduled access. And above all, your consent. Legally, what she did wasn't just rude, it was risky. Attached garage. That's your home. Entering without permission, doesn't matter if the door was unlocked, can cross the line into trespassing. Courts have made that clear. But you know what? It's not just about laws. It's about how people work. Folks like Marilyn, they use confidence as a weapon. Clipboard jargon that tone its theater. They're betting you'll cave or start apologizing or just let them have the last word. But when you don't, when you know your rights, stay calm, they short circuit. That's what happened to Marilyn. She expected a mess, expected to walk out feeling superior. Instead, she found order, confidence. That's why she folded. She's still sitting there holding onto that clipboard like it's a security blanket. She finally pushes herself up, starts smoothing out her blazer, cheeks bright red. But it's not embarrassment. It's resentment. You ever see that look? When someone knows they lost, but refuses to give up the fight. That's Marilyn right then. She coughs, tries to gather herself. Well, she says, clutching that clipboard, regardless of how impressive all this is, the HOA still reserves the right to know. I cut her off. Not loud, just firm. Like a period at the end of a sentence. It doesn't. She's stunned. I walk past her, slow, deliberate. Flip the garage light off, then on again, letting the chrome flash under the bulbs. You don't have inspection authority, I say. You never did. Even if you did, you definitely don't get to break into my garage to use it. She tries to argue. We received complaints. Multiple people are concerned about safety. There it is. Concern. The favorite word of people who want to feel justified. Concerned about what I ask. She waves around. The vehicles. The equipment. It feels excessive. Excessive. What she really means is threatening. Because when people see something they don't understand, something they can't control, they get uncomfortable. I nod. So someone complains, and your answer is to come in here without telling me, without the board, just on your own? She crosses her arms, trying to pull it together. I was acting in the neighborhood's best interest. I can't help but smile because this is the part where the tables really turn. I pull out my phone. She clocks it instantly. I already called the HOA office, I say, all casual. While you were inspecting. And just like that, she pales. You did what? Yep. Turns out they're really interested in hearing about unauthorized entries, especially from someone not even on the enforcement committee. She takes a step back. I am a board member, former, I say, as of about 10 minutes ago. At least that's what I heard from the office. Silence. The kind that buzzes in your ears. Marilyn looks around like the walls might help her out. They don't. You can't do this, she says, voice getting thin. You're overreacting. And here's where the last trick comes out when authority doesn't work. Try to minimize. It's not a big deal. Why are you so upset I didn't break in? The door was unlocked. I just look at her. You're still on my property, without permission. Her jaw locks. I suggest I say you leave now. She waits. Too long. I'm not finished documenting, she blurts, lifting the clipboard. This behavior is exactly the hostility the HOA is worried about. And that's it. I step in, reach out, and just gently but definitely take the clipboard out of her hands. No drama, no shouting, just done. You're finished. And if you don't leave now, my next call isn't to the HOA. Her eyes flick to the driveway, to the open door, and to the two neighbors now standing across the street, pretending not to watch but absolutely glued in. She swallows and walks out. Fast, angry heels echoing. Out into the sunlight she never should have stepped out of in the first place. I close the garage door behind her, slow and loud. The sound almost feels like a stamp. 10 minutes later, my phone rings. HOA manager. No sugarcoating. What happened was unacceptable, she says. Marilyn had no authority, no permission, not even a valid complaint. They'd had complaints about her before, too. Apparently, I wasn't the only one. That mattered. She apologized, confirmed everything in writing, said my property was in full compliance. Nobody could enter without written notice and my say-so. And Marilyn stripped of all inspection rolls. No more clipboard, no more walkabouts. News traveled fast. By dinner, my doorbell started ringing. Neighbors. Curious, friendly, the kind who never talked to me before, wanting to see what was really in my garage. I gave a few tours. By invitation. People were respectful, genuinely interested, not nosy. Marilyn, though, became something else entirely. A cautionary tale. Whispers followed her. Conversation stopped when she passed. The authority she once had gone, replaced with quiet embarrassment and a very public lesson. After that day, she never even glanced at my garage again. I put up security cameras anyway, not out of fear, just to make a point. Boundaries matter. And now, every so often, when I hear another garage door opening down the street, I can't help but smile, remembering that moment where entitlement crashed right into preparation and lost. After everything calmed down, no more calls, no more drama, I found myself standing alone in the garage one night. Just me, the soft hum of the lights, surrounded by years of work, patience, and a little bit of obsession. And you know what hit me? This was never just about a garage. It never is. It's about boundaries. And what happens when someone decides they're allowed to cross them just because nobody's ever stopped them before? People like Marilyn thrive in that gray area, the space where most folks don't want confrontation, where we're scared of escalation, letters, fines. They're betting you'll give in first. And honestly, most of the time that bet pays off. Because authority doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes it just looks confident or sounds like it knows what it's talking about. Sometimes it's just loud. But here's what I learned. Preparation is its own kind of armor. You don't have to yell. You don't have to threaten. Just knowing where you stand, what your rights are, staying calm, staying clear, that's what flips the script. The rules are supposed to protect everyone, not just the people who like to enforce them. The moment someone makes it personal, turns it into a power trip, that's when you have to step up. And here's the truth, Marilyn didn't just wake up a villain. It happens little by little. Every time nobody pushed back. Every time someone let it slide. That's how it grows, not just because of people like her, but because of silence. I also realized, taking care of my space, being prepared, it's a kind of self-respect. When you keep things in order, your passions, your boundaries, it says something. People step into your world expecting to find chaos, but they find order and suddenly they don't know how to act. And maybe that's why this story hit home with my neighbors. Because we've all known a Marilyn somewhere in the office, in a family, in a community. Someone who confuses having power with owning it. So let me ask you, has anyone ever tried to claim control over something that was yours? Did you stand up or let it slide because it seemed easier? And if you're dealing with an HOA now, do you actually know the rules, or are you just assuming they do? Because once you see that difference, really see it, everything changes. That garage, still my sanctuary, still locked, still mine. And Marilyn? She's still around sometimes. No clipboard quiet keeps her distance. A walking reminder that entitlement only works until it finally meets someone who's ready, really ready to close the door.